When they came to you, I bet they had no idea what your plan was. I mean, did they think they were going to get a pretty picture of kids and something that said about a great school, and how did you have to did you have to convince them of what you wanted to do?
Yes, basically, they were pretty much like most people. They say, "Hey, we need some video to promote our new school," but they didn't say anything above that. But then this was at the very beginning of the ACDC methodology, so to speak. So what we did was we put together a plan for them that talked about, you don't really need one video. You're going to need several different videos depending upon where somebody is in the buyer's journey. So we had to go through and explain what the buyer's journey was, why it was necessary to have different types of content for different stages of the buyer's journey. So we explained to them that our strategy would be to create awareness content, consideration stage content, and decision stage content, and also how we could track the number of views and the number of clicks with this strategy. So even though they didn't really know about it, they were very enthusiastic that we were going to be tracking results and going to take this approach to their opening of their new school.
So they have a new school, they have a problem, they approach you and say, we need some video or a video, and then you end up talking them into a whole strategy that is actually data tracking and results. So what as far as content goes, what did you end up doing? How did that start? And tell me how it was or wasn't just one video or some video as they had suggested.
Yes. So what we did was we proposed to them a complete ACDC, which stands for Awareness, Consideration, Decision Stage Content campaign to them. And the awareness stage content we told them would be to talk about some of the common problems and issues that parents in the neighborhood had with finding good daycare, finding some place that's safe, some place that's reliable, some place where they felt good about the curriculum that their children would be exposed to during the day, and also something that would help them for those parents that work night shifts, where they could have someplace trustworthy that they could go to during the evening shift that many parents worked. So those were some of the pain points that we said we were going to do in the awareness stage content. And then for the consideration stage content, we were going to, we went in depth in terms of creating an origin story for how the director of the school, Rachel, got started in the business, what her philosophy or values, and how long she had been part of the daycare center. She already had a daycare center at the other side of town. And we also created decision stage content where we got testimonials from some of the parents and children that they had served in the past, singing their praises about how good they were in terms of the type of quality daycare and curriculum that was offered to the kids that had attended their other school. So there was several different videos that were created in terms of the awareness content, consideration stage content, and decision stage content. And
So from pitch meeting, when did you start shooting? And then how much content did you have, say in the first month or 3 months? How much lead time did you have before they needed to get students in seats?
after we had done the proposal, we probably started with creating the content within a week after they had approved the
So
proposal.
right away, there's no funny business here. It's here's what we're gonna do, and let's get to business, right? And then you're sort of taking the steering wheel, and because you now have a goal that you've got to meet for the sake of your client. It's not like they're managing what the video looks like. What's important is that it works. Is that
Yes, and the advantage that we had was they have another school. So even though the school that we were doing this for was under construction, they had another school where we could film a lot of the testimonials and a lot of the types of activities that typically are done at their school. Plus, we had the opportunity to film testimonials of the parents that were attending their other school, and also staff members, because this was a two-pronged project. They wanted to recruit staff, and they also wanted to recruit parents and children as well too. So we were able to get started right away creating content, even though the school was under construction, because they had another campus that we were able to begin the process of creating content for them.
Tell me then, because you got started right away, and then as I know it, or as I end up telling a lot of clients and contemporaries about the awareness, is that you're creating something that's sort of really interesting, educational. You're just trying to get people involved in something that they may not have known before. And then really the whole point of that is to take that easy to watch informational content and spread that wide, right? You're sending that
Correct.
out to a really large group. Do you know what platform did that go out on? And do you have any idea how many people you tried to get that in front of, that first set of awareness?
Yeah. So once we got all of our content together, the awareness stage content, we decided to use YouTube because that was the recommended platform for the type of demographic that they were going after. And the great thing about YouTube is we could target specific zip codes in our city. They were really wanting to promote specifically to maybe within a 10-mile radius of their school, you know. So we could target specific zip codes. We could target, demographics of people, of parents who are likely to have kids that young. Plus, we also went as old as grandparents' age, because sometimes grandparents are responsible for taking care of their grandkids. So oftentimes they are the decision maker in terms of where to take kids, their grandkids, for daycare as well too.
So that first awareness campaign gets in front of what, tens of thousands of people, or is it a bigger sample, or what? And
Yes.
how do you know? And then what do you do with that once you get that in front of them? How do you know what the next? What good is that to anybody? Who cares?
Yeah. So the great thing was that when we put together these different awareness stage ads for them, we were getting great results right from the very beginning. We got a total of 280,000 views of the video, of the awareness stage content from the different ads and different videos that we were putting this on. And then we had consideration stage content as well too, that we retarget. So of the 280,000 views, we had over 100,000 people who were engaged viewers, people who watched at least.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Like
Yeah,
I usually think that it is you're lucky to have 20% of that, but that's really something. Just
yeah,
40 to 50% there, right? Is that?
yeah. And I think part of it is that these were going to Albuquerque residents. A lot of people have curiosity as to what's happening in our city, and the fact that someplace nice was coming up in the international district, I think was kind of attention grabbing as well too. So I think that also contributed to the high numbers of engaged viewers that we got. So we in turn ran some consideration stage content. Some of the consideration stage content that we ran, when the school was constructed and everything was done, we did a virtual tour of the school, and we gave people a bird's eye view in terms of how beautiful the school was. This was a completely remodeled building. It had all new furniture, all new fixtures. It showed, even though it's in one of the poorest neighborhoods of Albuquerque, it had some of the most sophisticated security features of any preschool in the city or state. They have security gates all around. They have fobs where only the parents could get in or the staff could get in. They had security cameras everywhere. They had bulletproof glass. So they had all of these sophisticated security features that we showed off in our virtual tour that we did.
So tell me, the targeting in YouTube allowed you to go to specific zip codes, and those zip codes, I'm guessing, are likely to be parents with young children or potentially grandparents with a connection to young children, and they're already sort of invested. So that might explain why we have such a high engagement thing there. Super exciting. But how do you define engagement? Were they watching it all the way through, or 15 seconds through, or what did you count as
Yeah.
an engagement?
So all of our awareness content was about a minute long. And we defined an engaged view as anybody who had watched at least 50% of that awareness stage content. So that's how we built that audience. Was we told YouTube, identify all the people who have watched at least 50% of one of these awareness videos. And in turn, it created an audience of engaged viewers. So that gave us an audience of people that we could retarget with a consideration stage ad and consideration stage content, of which some of it was the virtual tour, some of it was testimonials, some of it was, for instance, the curriculum that they offer. Some of it was the food service. We did a little profile, a little video about the chef and his philosophy of healthy food, uh, and how important it is for a young child growing up to have healthy food.